Okay, here we have the HU24-6-DSL, which means it's a diesel model. It's a 52 horsepower Perkins diesel engine. Our machines would either come with Cat or Perkins. To start your engine, the first thing you're going to want to do is make sure that your PTO lever is in the pushed position forward so that your belts do not try to spin when you start the engine. You're going to want to come to your engine here. You're going to want to hold in your emergency stop here, turn to preheat, let it preheat, and then turn to the start position. Once the engine is running, let go of the key and hold your emergency stop until your oil pressure reaches 60 psi. Once it reaches 60 psi, you can let go of your emergency stop and the engine will run. If you crank it and let go of this immediately, your engine is going to continue to shut off. It's a safety feature that keeps your engine from running with low oil pressure. Your engine oil filter is located here. Your secondary fuel filter is here, primary here. Your primer, when you get it, you'll need to prime your filters full from here. Out of your tank, we ship them with the tanks empty. Once your engine is running, you're going to let it idle and warm up for 5 minutes. Once it has idled and ran for 5 minutes, you're going to want to take your PTO clutch lever here, pull it back to engage your PTO, which will start your belts, your pump, and your head spinning. Once that is engaged, you're going to want to come over here and pull your tack out until it reaches 2500 RPM, or the maximum, which is going to be 25 to 2600 RPM. Once it's running, you will come over here to your control panel, located here. Flip this to the down position. You have a light that will come on. Your cooler will start running. And then you'll flip this to the down position. If you flip this to the down position, that's going to be in automatic mode, which means your box is going to continuously keep running to shave your wood. If you do not want it to run in automatic, you would push this lever up and you can jog these momentary switches here to move your cylinder forward or backwards. The only way that you should ever use these two switches is for troubleshooting. After your shaver has been started, you're going to want to push this valve in the back position. It'll lock into place, and what that will do is that will start your belt running underneath your machine. Always start this first before you turn this to automatic, because if you don't, the shavings will back up inside of your chute and you will have to dig them out. Once your machine is running, your pressure should run anywhere from 1000 to 1500 psi. It's governed down to that. That's the way we set it. And then your speed lever here on your flow control will speed or slow down your box. 1 being the shortest or 1 being the smallest number, which would be the slowest, and 10 being the fastest. If you ever need to increase your pressure here, you can pop this cap off. There's a 3/8 Allen screw head inside of here. You can turn in to increase your pressure or out to decrease your pressure, which you shouldn't have to do that because it's set from here. Cooler maintenance. You're going to want to blow your cooler out once a day if you're in a dusty environment, and keep it clean. If your cooler is to clog up with dust, what will happen is your oil pressure will get, or your oil temperature will increase and run the risk of tearing up your internals on your valves. Hydraulic tank is here. You want it to run anywhere from a 1/2 inch below this line to about this black line here. This will tell you your temperature here. You're going to want it to run anywhere from 100 to 150 degrees at any given time. Your filter is located here. This filter will need to be changed once every 300 hours. And you would need to change your hydraulic fluid once a year. Your conveyor here, your belt. To adjust your belt, what you would do is loosen this bolt with a 3/4 wrench, and you would screw this in to tension your belt by pushing it out. Now, if your belt starts running to one side or the other, say it's running to the side that we're looking at right now, you're going to want to push this out on your belt to make your belt go in the other directions. Make small corrections when you do this, because if you don't, what will happen is you'll stretch the belt on one side and then you won't be able to get it to track properly. Your chain is located here. To tension your chain, you could do the same thing inside of here. You've got a tensioner on this side of the belt that will push out to tension your chain. And if you do that, you're going to want to push both sides at one time so that your belt roller will be pushed the same amount and run and track the same. Head bearings are here. Grease fittings on each side will be down inside of a hole. You're going to pump 3 to 4 shots in these bearings every 40 hours of lithium based grease. Here is the tensioner on the back. Same principle applies. Loosen, tighten this here, and then lock your nut back here. Small corrections on each side so that you don't stretch the belt. Rollers on your box that are located here are self-sealing rollers. You should not have to grease these. Cylinder grease fittings, one's located here on the front and one is located here on the back. Just grease those as needed. Battery maintenance, keep your battery clean at all times. Always keep your shut off in the off position unless you are operating the machine to keep from killing your battery. Keep the machine clean at all times and free of debris as much as possible. Don't let the debris build up on your carriage here. You want this to be clean at all times and clean on the back at all times. If we go inside of your box here, if you're looking at your box here, this is your UHMW wear plates. Your UHMW wear plates will actually rub the bed plate. This is to keep stuff from getting out. If these wear and you need to replace them, you see these holes here, you can take this, loosen these bolts up, flip this over, push it back down against the bottom, and re-drill these holes with a 3/8 bit. You only need to drill through the UHMW plastic. Head is located here. To tension your belts, you will pop these out here that are around. They're self-tapping screws with a 3/8 head. You can remove this plate, and if you see here where your pump is, there's a bolt, 4 bolts, 2 on top, 2 down here at the bottom. And you come over here to your tensioner and you would loosen this and screw in on this to pull it back to tighten your belt, and then lock it back here and lock your 4 bolts there, and that will keep those 2 belts tight. Engine belts, 3/4 here. Loosen all 4 around your engine. Use these to screw in, and there's lock nuts on the back. That would be to adjust your engine tight. When you're operating the machine and you want to make a knife change, what you would do is allow your cylinder to come all the way back in automatic mode. Bump this limit switch until it stops, or have your cylinder to run all the way out. Bump the limit switch and stop. Then you would take this pin out and push your box to the end as far as you can without pushing it off, so that your knives will be exposed and easily changed. Do not try to get inside of the box to change your knives, and when you're changing your knives, always make sure your engine is in the off position, your PTO clutch is disengaged, and the key is out of the ignition so nobody can crank it while you are inside. Cylinder adjustment to control your stroke will be located here. These you would loosen to adjust the stroke of your cylinder. If you've had a machine and you've run, this will make sense to you, but if you're shaving and you see that your material is shaving at an angle and it's higher on this side than it is on that side, you would need to increase your stroke coming back so that it would shave more on this end. To do that, if you need to increase it, you would loosen this 3/4, slide this back, make small corrections here. You can make a mark here and move it back 1/4 of an inch at a time until you get to where you see that it's shaving properly across. You shouldn't have to ever adjust that until after you've run it a while and it's broken in. You may have to adjust that. Same rule applies on the back here. To increase your stroke, move back away from the head. To decrease your stroke, move closer to the head with these stops here. Make small corrections on these. If you let it go too far, you'll hit your UHMW plastic on the inside, which will not hurt your knives, but it will make a gap there that you will need to fix so that it doesn't blow shavings and debris out from underneath the machine. That pretty much concludes the machine. Thank you.